Thank you for tuning in to the NSUSpartans.com weekly football coaches show. This week, we look back on the Spartans' victory over Hampton University last Saturday in the Battle of the Bay and look forward to this week's matchup against Bethune-Cookman. And as always, we bring in Spartan football coach Pete Adrian. And coach, your team, another week, another win. A big victory over Hampton last week. You're now 6-1 overall, 4-0 in the MEAC, and your team just seems to continue to rise to the occasion in these big ball games.
Well, they have to, because every week it just gets bigger and bigger, and of course that's a nice situation to be in for the players and the coaches. That's why you coach. That's why you play. You like to think every game's a big football game, and of course these certainly are.
Now you got off to a big start again. The game, I thought, kind of came down similarly to how it did against Delaware State. You got off to the big early lead. You're up 27-7 at halftime. Hampton made a run at you in the second half, but again, you came up with the big plays in the end as you needed to close out the ball game.
Well, it was very windy, and they won the toss and took the ball, so we took the win, and defense played well, and I think our first three scores all came on short fields of 30, 35 yards, whatnot, and the offense did a good job of getting points on the board for us, and they came back and scored, and we had actually broken the coverage, which was a big play for them, and got them down. But give them credit, they got it in, and third quarter, I thought we needed to get another score because I felt pretty confident what we were doing just to get that back, and we were able to do that. Again, big play on a missed tackle, which went 65 yards, and we just missed the tackle, and of course we were in a blitz, and there wasn't a lot of support, and they finally got that in. And then, uncharacteristic for us, we turned it over a couple of times. It gave us a great field position, and we were able to get out of one with 3 points, and we got out of the other one, and then they got the ball on a punt, which we got called for a penalty, and ended up being a 19-yard drive, I think, which took about 8 or 9 plays for them to score on. But then again, game on the line, our kids, like you said, they stepped up and played well on both sides of the football, and that's what you have to do.
They mentioned you had a couple turnovers there, 3 in the fourth quarter. You only had 3 turnovers combined in your first 6 ball games, and they came from some of your veteran leaders, but nonetheless you had some other guys step up. Offensively, Randy Maines had sort of the back-breaking touchdown there, his first touchdown at Norfolk State, and then defensively, Keenan Lambert had the big game-clinching interception. So I'm sure as a coach it's nice to see, get some contributions from some of the younger players on your roster.
Well, and what we say all the time as coaches to them is that, in the big games, somebody has to step up and make a big play. And you had that, and we've been seeing to get that. That's what you have to win. I was asked earlier today, what's the difference between 6-5 and 9-2? And the bottom line is, when the game's on the line, you make plays to win instead of making plays to lose.
Now, we've seen a trend with your team really getting off to a fast start. You were up 27-7, as you mentioned. The win helped you with some short fields this week, but you've outscored your opponent something like 67-13 this year in the first quarter. What is it about this team that really has enabled you to get out to these big early leads on other teams?
Well, I think offensively, we've got the first 15 plays pretty well diagrammed what we want to do, and as long as we see what we're supposed to see, we do it, and then the kids are executing it real well, and it's helping us out. And then, of course, the defense is getting the ball, and away we go. But and then as games go on, if you're playing against good coaches, which we do, they're going to make adjustments. So they're going to make adjustments, and you're going to make adjustments. That's why it's the chess game of back and forth again.
Now, as we said, 6-1 overall, 4-0 in the MEAC. You remain one of 2 unbeaten teams in the MEAC, along with North Carolina A&T, who's 3-0. One of the benefits of your win this week, you reached the top 25 for the first time since 2007 in the FCS poll. You're ranked 24th this week by the Sports Network. What kind of reaction have the players and coaches had to that ranking this week? I know it's something that's, I'm sure, it's nothing that obviously helps you win next Saturday, but I'm sure it's nice to have.
Well, it's nice to get a little recognition. It kind of ends there. You just keep winning, and those things will keep happening, and hopefully, we just, like I said, I take one game at a time, and all we're doing right now is focusing on Bethune-Cookman for Thursday night. And if good things happen there, then we'll go on to the next game after that. So it's really that simple.
Now, looking forward to the Bethune-Cookman game this week. As you said, a short week, Thursday night nationally televised game on ESPNU. What kind of challenge does that present? Just having the short week, only 5 days in between games.
Well, there's a bunch of challenges. Number one, physically for your players, having time to recover. Guys who maybe would be 100% on Saturday, won't be 100% on Thursday. You lose 2 days of preparation, both on the field and for the coaches in the office and that stuff. So you're losing about 20 to 24 hours worth of work over those 2 days that normally you'd have time to do it with, and it really puts a lot of stress on you to try to make sure you do the same thing, because you got to still do what you do all the time. And so instead of working an 85-hour work week, maybe you got to get it all done in a 70-hour work week, which is there's just not enough time in the day. And of course, Bethune-Cookman's an excellent football team. They played Miami even for really 3 quarters. They outplayed, I think, South Carolina State, and they just had a bad game at A&T. I don't know what happened there, but I mean, and we know they're going to come in here and play an excellent football game. They've got talent everywhere, and so it should be a very interesting game for the fans.
Do you see some similarities between your team and Bethune-Cookman? Obviously, some no huddle offense, a lot of athleticism on both sides of the football.
Well, there's a lot of that right there. They're kind of 2 different types of offenses, though. But even though they're no huddle, everybody thinks a no huddle offense is the same thing. But they do a lot with their formations, a lot with their personnel changes and whatnot, and they can attack you anywhere on the field. And they've got excellent running backs. They got 3 or 4 quarterbacks that can play, and the receivers are very good. And defensively, they're very aggressive defense with a lot of blitzing and trying to make big plays.
If you had to point out 1 or 2 things this week that'll be key for your team to get a victory, what would you say that those would be?
Well, it sounds kind of stupid, but first of all, you can't turn the ball over. And from a defensive standpoint, we've got to slow them down, and we can't give them the 50, 60-yard play. And from a special teams thing, we can't get a punt blocked or a bad snap like we did last year, which led to a touchdown for them.
All right, Coach, we wish you good luck this Thursday night, big game against Bethune-Cookman. We certainly hope all the fans can come out and support the team. And the Thursday night game, the Spartans' first in 6 years on a Thursday night. If you can't make it out, however, of course, the game can be seen on ESPNU, which is available on most cable and satellite providers. And if you don't have ESPNU, as always, the audio broadcast is available on the NSU Sports Network and at NSUSpartans.com. We'll talk to you next week again on the NSUSpartans.com Weekly Football Coaches Show.